Hey guys! So I've been getting a lot of requests to do a video on my book pet peeves. So in this video I'm going to be ranting about the things I don't like specifically in a book, about the content, about the plot, maybe the characters, and things like that. So I'm more talking about things I don't like in the actual story, but I asked you guys on Twitter and your responses were more on your pet peeves about the actual physical book and things that you don't like about that sort of idea. So I thought it was really great because you can have two sides to this. So I can give you guys my more of the content pet peeves, and then I will read through the tweets that you guys sent me about the physical pet peeves you don't like about books. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. As you can tell, I added some decorations to my bookshelf. I'm totally getting fancy with all this holiday stuff, so I hope you like it and I hope it's not too distracting. If you relate to these, let me know in the comments, and you have some that I didn't mention, definitely let me know because I'll probably agree with you because it was hard for me to think of a lot. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get on with the book pet peeves. Alright, so one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to the actual content of the book is annoying love triangles. You have to be good at it and you have to manipulate it in a way that it adds to the story and doesn't take it over, because I find when there's a book I read and that's all the book is about is just one giant love triangle, I go insane. For those of you who don't know what a love triangle is, it basically includes either a male or a female character, who I guess is like the tip of the triangle, and then the other two characters are basically, two of them they're interested in, but they can't really choose who they like. So let's say a female character is interested in two other guys, and throughout the whole book she's going back and forth between who to choose, who she likes more, who she's attracted to more, yada yada. So in total it creates a whole triangle that just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. I feel like that's the most annoying part, is when they can't decide and they keep contemplating to themselves, who should it be, but I like this one more. If it becomes too obvious, I just don't like it at all, and it becomes too stifling for me. I can't stand it. If a love triangle is done well, it could be so good, but if it's like an annoying ping pong match where you can't look, you don't know who to look at, you don't know who to decide on, it becomes so annoying. The second book pet peeve I have is slow pacing. That's one of my biggest ones because I feel like a slow pace drags out for so long. It makes you feel like the book you're reading goes on for like 600 pages. You don't have the chance to get into it because the pacing is really slow. I like a good build up in the beginning that leads to the exciting part, but if that part's missing, I am not interested in the book at all. It introduces everything, it gets you going, gets you interested in the story. So if that part is missing, there's a real problem with me in the book. So that brings me to my third pet peeve, which is boring beginnings. If the beginning of the book is boring, I'm not going to want to continue reading it. Of course, I force myself to get through it, and most of the time the second half is better, and a lot of the times the second half isn't as good. So slow pacing, bad beginnings equal a very bad book for me, and I just hate it. My fourth pet peeve is cliffhangers. And cliffhangers are great because it leaves you incredibly excited to read the next book, but if the next book doesn't come out for a very long time and it ends in a cliffhanger, it drives me insane. It's one of my major pet peeves because I find cliffhangers just leave you hanging, obviously, and it just makes you want to read the next book so much, but you can't. No, don't get me wrong, cliffhangers are a great way to end the book because it leaves your reader intrigued to read the next one, but as a reader who is passionate about a series or a certain book, if it ends in one, it just drives me insane. My fifth pet peeve is insecure main characters, and I know this is really broad because characters have to have their flaws, and some are going to be insecure, some are going to be different, but for me, insecurities really distract me from loving the main character and getting to know them, because all I'm focused on is how annoyingly insecure they are. I guess what I mean by insecure is just a main character who's always second guessing herself or himself and is making bad decisions because they don't know what to do and they're not confident in themselves or their boyfriend or their girlfriend, so they're doing things that they don't really would normally do, but their insecurities lead them to do things that are so annoying. So these bad decisions that are kept doing over and over again. So I guess that brings me to my sixth pet peeve, which is main characters who make the same bad decision over and over again. And I guess there's a point where an author writes about this because that's just the character, that's their personality, that's just the way they are. But honestly, if they're insecure, not confident, they second guess themselves, and that leads to them to make the same mistakes over and over again, it drives me absolutely insane, because I feel like the character's not learning from his or her mistakes, and if they're not learning from it, that's not going to make me like the character very much. If they make a couple mistakes, that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes, but if they continue for the whole book, nah. That's not what the focus of the book should be on, and if that's the case, I'm not gonna like the book. The 7th pet peeve I have is instant love. But it's basically when a girl sees a boy, or vice versa, and they feel an instant love and passion for this other person, and it's just so instant that it becomes unnatural and not really realistic. There's obviously instant lust, which is different than love, but when the main character becomes obvious about his or her feelings about the other person instantly, like they feel like they've always known them and they love them, they can't stop thinking about them, it becomes a little unrealistic and not that great to read about. And if it's unrealistic, I'm not going to get really invested in the book. For it to be realistic, it needs time, development, and that's what makes a good relationship amazing, because it grows over time and it's not instant. So that's that. So then book pet peeve number 8 would have to be predictable moments in a book. And I guess it all depends on the reader and if they would predict them or not, but I feel like if I keep sensing what's gonna happen and if I'm able to predict what's gonna happen all the time, it's not an exciting or thrilling book, and it's a major pet peeve of mine, because if it's predictable, that means it's cliche and it's just something repetitive. And I guess that brings me to my 9th pet peeve, which is cliche stories. Cliche is really broad and it's not really a specific sort of pet peeve for me, because a book that's cliche depends on what cliche means, and I guess people's perspectives of what a cliche plot is are going to be different. But for me, a cliche plot is just a boy, a girl, they like each other, maybe there's a werewolf and a vampire involved, and then things happen, yada yada. That's not new and refreshing for me. Authors have the way they want to write whatever they want to write, so if they want to write that story, kudos to them, because they're publishing a book, it's fantastic. But for me, if it's a book that I've already read and it's just the same old, then I'm not really going to be interested. And I guess that definitely depends on the reader, because if you haven't read a lot of a certain type of book and you go to read the same book, you might not think it's cliche because you haven't read the same sort of types. For me, I'm all about variety, so if there's no variety in the book I'm reading, it's not going to be very interesting for me. Book pet peeve number 10 would definitely have to be when a book is way too short. I hate it when you feel like you're just getting into the book and it's over. So for me, it has to be a good length. It has to be a length where I'm able to get submerged into the plots, where I meet the characters, where I like them, and it's just getting exciting, and then there's enough time afterwards to slowly get into the end of it. But if it feels like it just ends when you're getting into it, it really hurts, because I feel like the last half of the book is missing and it's not even over. If it's a good solid story and that amount of pages, then awesome, but if I feel like it should be longer, then it should be longer. Alright, my last pet peeve number 11, is when I guess a sequel or a next installment comes out 2 years after the previous book, and I guess this isn't really about the content, but it's just something that came to mind. It bugs me so much when I finish the book and then it says, next one to be released in 2015. But then again, I totally understand, because writing a next book in a series is a lot of pressure, it's a lot of work, so of course an author needs 2 years or 3 years to write it. Totally understandable, but from my perspective, I just want the book now. I just want to read it now. It's kind of a pet peeve, but I understand. It's just something, you know, you go back and forth, you understand, but you hate it. my video, definitely leave in the comments what your book pet peeves are, because I cannot wait to read what you guys say. I'll probably agree with them 100% because I think we all relate to books in some way or another, especially with pet peeves. I really hope you enjoyed. If you have any requests for future videos, make sure you leave them in the comments or even tweet me on Twitter asking me to do that video. I would love to hear your responses and requests. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all your support and all your comments and your responses. It means so much to me, and I hope that you like my videos as much as I like making them. So thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!